We're actually assisting some people forming companies now to enter the marijuana industry. We're helping out with the framework and the structure. We're helping them with strategic planning, trying to see forecasts where things are going, what the regulations are going to look like, and all those types of things. So ultimately, that's what we do. We kind of look where the puck's going to be, not where it is right now. And you know, the concern was brought up about the black market. You know, from a business perspective, I see people. We're getting lots of inquiries. People are interested in investing and putting together professional business plans to enter the industry. And my concern from the business perspective is, you know, they work hard, they come up with business plans, they follow the rules, and I really worry about the black market kind of undercutting those efforts. And so that's a concern I see just from concern about my clients in the business perspective.
What I would hope, and I encourage all of you to do, is understand we're in a process here where we're seeing some new business and a new product that's going to be consumed within the state of Alaska. And by working together, we can all make this work and work very well. I know that as an assembly member, I'm going to sit in assembly meetings. There are going to be some individuals that are going to testify to me that are going to come in and say ugly, obnoxious, nasty things. And there's no way you avoid those. It doesn't matter what the topic is. But what I hope is that we can carry on a dialogue just like we've had here today. That's a very conversational dialogue. We listen to everybody, and the Assembly has no predetermined outcome here. So rest assured of that. We're going to listen to the community. We're going to respect your wishes, both people that don't want that in their community as well as people that want to start the businesses. And we're going to find common ground where we can get this implemented and not end up with a rift inside of our community between the users and the non-users. Like I say, I view this as no different than when Prohibition ended and alcohol was made legal. This is something that's been there for a long time, and it's coming from behind the curtain, out in front of the curtain, and we're going to work very hard to get this implemented and make the community comfortable that it's a product that's being safe and the people delivering are responsible and accountable for what they're doing.
Well, the Coalition for Responsible Cannabis Legislation was founded, as the name would imply, to see these regulations done well and done right. We want to see a thriving marijuana industry throughout Alaska, but we also recognize and agree with the folks that are concerned about public safety and underage consumption and so forth. We think that reasonable adults can come together and working with folks like Mr. Hall and other bodies around the state. We want to work with them to come up with those rules that strike that balance, that address public safety and the legitimate public concerns, but allow the industry to grow and thrive. It's a fine line to walk, but if we do it right, we can move the black market to a legitimate business model. We'll generate some modest amount of tax revenue. Hopefully, we'll have a more educated public. And as for the people that show up to those public meetings and they're rude and uncivil, all I can say is please don't do that. That's not helping anybody. Mr. Hall and I have a great rapport, and as we should. It's a legitimate, worthwhile discussion that adults need to have. It's going to be a lot of work over the next 12 months, but I think we can do it if everybody's got the right attitude.
Really, when you think about it, the community of Anchorage, we're about to embark on the biggest drug experiment in the state's history. I mean, in every community in this state is. There's two things that are critically important moving forward. The data today, establishing metrics. So when things happen over the next year, after we swing into full legalization, that we can look behind us and have certainty on the discussion. Compared to last year, did legalization of marijuana increase DUIs? Polling the business community. What about employee performance? What about drug testing? What about your liabilities? Because as a business owner, there's a lot of concern out there. Liability of employees, not just drug testing, but beyond that. Those can be addressed, those have to be addressed. But the key thing is data, is to establish a structure of metrics today. So moving forward, we can see exactly what the impacts are, both on the economy and on society. Because there's no question that when you look at every survey, especially education-based surveys, and you look at what teachers are saying about the community, drugs are a huge problem. I mean, it's the number one inhibitor they identify as an inhibitor to kids' learning, is the prevalence of drugs and alcohol in the community. And so the voters have spoken. You had over 10,000 voters show up in November to vote on this one issue. They didn't vote on anything else, just voted on legalizing marijuana. And so we have a responsibility, as Ernie said, to do it. The voters have spoken, and it's going to come down to two things: accumulating that data and managing the process.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I wanted to invite Ella up here to speak a little bit. She's the Leadership Development Chair of the ANPA board. And thank you guys for your time. And thank you everyone for joining us and contributing to educating ourselves and the public.